Okay, this video is just going to go over the character selection options for the game, mostly the top level stuff. I will not be doing a deep dive into the appearance options, the customization options in this video, but I will be making another video about it, so check the description for a link to that video if that's something that you're interested in. To start with, the first screen is where you choose your lineage, whether you want to be an elf or a canary or a human or a dwarf. And then within these, you can cycle through a preset appearance to choose your starting appearance. Note that the dwarves cannot dream or wield magic, which means when we are on the class screen, they will have a lock on the mage option. Other than that, all class options and faction options are open to all four. So basically, this screen just sort of starts with just your lineage. It doesn't affect your class or faction options, with the exception of dwarfs and mage. That's it. Okay, so in the appearance window, you can choose... Nope. There we go. I couldn't get my buttons to work. So they have like 2.5 pages of presets that you can choose from for starting. Or you can go to customize. And this is the one where we won't be going through all of the options. These are all of the head options, the body options, the eyes and eyebrow options, nose, mouth, ears. I'm just going to be going over sort of like the titles that are available. There should be a link in the description, though, for more detail on what this is. But we're going to go back. We're going to choose a preset. Okay, then you can choose your pronouns. He, him, she, her, they, them. You can choose your gender. Okay, on the class page, we can choose either a rogue, a warrior, or a mage. And again, the mage class is locked for dwarves. The armor that they're wearing can be swapped out on PlayStation with L2, R2. And note that some of these are just like previews. This is going to be your starting outfit right here. Casual wear. You can start with. But as far as rogue goes, for exploring, there's 3 different specializations for rogue. There's 3 for each of them. There's a duelist. You can draw your steel, parry and dodge past enemies to gain strength with every strike. There's the saboteur, where you can set the stage, deploy explosives and turrets to devastate enemies and pick them off with arrows. And then the Veil Ranger. You can hunt the enemies, snipe them from afar. I love sniping. Using artifacts that charge arrows with dangerous and powerful magic. So you can select rogue, or you can select warrior. There's the Reaper. You become the Knight's Blade, steal life and risk death to gain incredible unnatural abilities. Slayer, leap into the fray. You wield massive punishing weapons while rushing enemies to deal devastating blows. Or the Champion, be the shield, shrug off damage while summoning righteous fire down on enemies. And select that class. Or the mage class. There's the Death Caller. Embrace the dark, drain life from enemies, and then cast spells that ride with the essence of death itself. Call the Void. Freeze enemies in their tracks, and then summon the deepest cold to tear them apart. Or Spellblade. Be the Storm. Channel potent spells for close quarter combat infused with lightning's wrath. So these are the mage specializations. So then you just choose which one of the 3 you want, or if you're a dwarf, choose just between rogue and warrior. So the faction page is the one where you pick your backstory and a little bit more of your skills. There's your last name. There's a different last name for each one. Surname. But your faction each comes with sort of 3 different perks. You gain reputation with that particular faction. And then you can deal increased damage versus one of the enemies in the game. And then the third one's like this nice little perk. You can either hold an extra potion or apply additional affliction or takedowns. Takedowns on enemies are, you can perform takedowns on enemies with slightly less effort. Class-specific resource regenerates faster, deals slightly increased critical weak point damage, whichever. But you can choose it. And then if you want to read the backstories for any of them, just highlight which one you want to read. And on PlayStation, it's going to be the top L1, R1. If you hit R1, it'll give you the backstory if you want to read that. So you can choose which one you want. Hit R1, and then you select this faction. So then playstyle screen, this is the difficulty screen. You can choose anywhere between storyteller up to nightmare. Know that these four, storyteller, keeper, adventurer, and underdog, you can change the game. You can change difficulty mid-game. Nightmare, however, if you choose Nightmare, you can't change that difficulty mid-game. You'll have to start a new playthrough. And then if you want to see more about the Unbound customization options, I do have a video up, and I'll put a link to that in the description as well. But you can customize quite a bit of stuff for your gameplay experience, but they don't recommend it as a first playthrough. So then lastly, you can finalize. You can pick your first name. You can choose your voices.
Time to get to work.
There's masculine 1.
What's he been saying now?
Masculine 2.
Well, we're not in trouble.
There's feminine 1.
Let's move.
There's feminine 2. And then you can choose your pitch.
Well, we made it. I'm happy we're here. All of us.
So you can choose a random name. Or you can choose your regular name. And then you can make changes to your past adventures. I never played like the originals, so I have no way of actually answering these questions. But if you have, this is where you do that part. Interesting. You can customize the main character in a few events from the previous game. This will have some minor effects on the story, but can be skipped if you wish to move on. So that's where that part is right there. So then here's your summary. And so these are the sort of top level options that are available when building your character in the game. So there you go.